In this section of Wholesale 2.0 in the Unstoppable Amazon Academy, we're going to be talking about contacting wholesale vendors. Now, when you contact wholesale vendors, you have a couple questions that you want to be sure to ask. You want to be able to ask if you're actually attending a trade show or you're calling near a trade show, meaning you found them on an exhibitor list for a trade show that's happening in the near future. Then we're going to ask them a couple questions. Is there a free freight or a discount we order as part of the show? We want to make sure that we ask them, regardless of whether or not the show is coming up or far away, is there a minimum opening order? We want to ask how they ship, and do we need to order by case, by the piece, and an estimated ship time. Now, we have an email script that we have for you to use to contact vendors ahead of time of the trade show. Now, what we recommend is that you practice using this script yourself, and then once you understand how the script works and you've had some experience sending those emails out yourself and getting price lists back, that you start to outsource this to a virtual assistant. Then that virtual assistant can do the work of doing the initial email to the vendor requesting the price list, and you can have the replies go back to your email. So you can reply back to any questions that the vendor might have. So what we do is when we have our virtual assistant email vendors, they email it from like Rochelle Sanchez at robinsnest.co. What will happen is when they reply back, the virtual assistant forwards the reply to Rochelle's email. Then Rochelle has a slightly different email that she replies back to the vendor with. So she answers any questions about the kind of things that we sell, where we sell, any of those questions that maybe if you don't feel comfortable having them answer. What you want to do ultimately is start preparing a copy and paste answer that you can just customize, so you're not spending a ton of time on these emails. So on the email script, you're going to want to make sure that you customize this template to make sure that if somebody else took this course and sent an email to a vendor, they're not getting the exact same email from you. Because if that was me and I got the exact same verbiage from two different people, I would think that was a little weird. So we want to make sure that you customize it. The main part of the email script is introducing yourself and maybe your store. I recently found your product, or I saw your product on Amazon. I saw your product at a trade show. I recently saw your product in a local store and would like to carry it myself. We're very interested in carrying your product. If you can add something specific about what you liked about the product, that helps, but that takes a little bit extra time too. You want to make sure you attach a copy of your resale license, and then you want to ask them for a copy of their price list and any necessary paperwork to open an account. Also, we want to know what do they look for as a minimum opening order. You want to give them a contact phone number and email for them to call you with. Now, what we usually do is we'll email them, and as we're emailing them, we have the virtual assistant, or in the beginning it will be you, in a spreadsheet, put the name of the company, the name of who we contacted, the phone number, the email address, the website for the company, and the date the email was sent. We'll have a template for that. So you're going to write down as you email them. 3 days later, or 2 or 4, depending on what you want to do, we're going to call the same vendor and we're going to ask them with the same information. I found your product. We really love it. We were interested in carrying it. Here's our resale number. How do we open an account with you? If we get voicemail, we're going to leave a message. And then 3 days later, we're going to send them an email. So we're going to keep calling and emailing them until they tell us to either go away or they give us a price list. Now, the reason we do this is if you've ever watched Shark Tank, you'll realize that a lot of these people that have these new emerging items to market, or that are smaller companies, they are just barely holding on. They're just trying to keep their stuff together. So it might be that they're not ignoring you. It might be that they just haven't had time to respond to you. So you don't want to be aggressive, but you want to be assertive and saying, I don't know if you got my email. I just wanted to see if you were opening accounts right now. Make sure you keep it friendly. We don't want to start out the relationship being demanding or needy, but we want to see if we can get that response so we can either cross them off the list or we can start looking into those products to make sure. Now, again, we want to disqualify any brands before we start this process. So if you skip the video on disqualifying brands, go back to that video and watch it before you start contacting any of these vendors. So if and when they ask you, where do you sell? Then they might care where you sell. You want to understand that this is a legitimate concern, that they have to guard their brand value, and they need to keep their brick and mortar stores happy. And from a brand perspective, controlling MAP pricing and controlling the third-party sellers on Amazon is an almost unbearable task. It's very difficult, and it's very time consuming, and it's very stressful for them. Remember, this is their baby and their livelihood. Their house could be mortgaged to get this product off the ground. They could have used all of their life savings to get this product in production. So be respectful of their brand and the time that they put in to get it. They've probably have heard horror stories about Amazon sellers. The other thing that you might find them asking is, do you want us to drop ship? Or how do you ship? Anytime they're starting to ask about shipping, a lot of the vendors in certain categories have only had experience with e-commerce professionals that will want to drop ship. So they don't want to buy any of the inventory up front, they just want to drop ship the item. That's very time consuming for the vendor, and it's not super profitable for them. So usually if they ask you questions, how do you ship, where would you want us to ship the item, they want to make sure that you're going to take possession of the items. So if you can assure them that you're going to take possessions of the item and you're going to handle it from there, then you'll find that alleviates a lot of concerns. Now, if they specifically say, do you sell on Amazon? The first thing I want to tell you is do not lie. Do not lie to them. It is not going to be helpful because they're still going to see you're on their listing later. And some companies have been getting very aggressive in pursuing people that are selling on Amazon that are not authorized distributors. It's just really not worth it. Don't resist the question. Don't tell them that they're stupid. Instead of trying to tell them that they're wrong, acknowledge their concerns. And then sometimes you'll see that the whole conversation will change. When you come from a place of, we sell on Amazon, we also sell on another website, only say that if you have another website. But if you're concerned about MAP pricing, we always honor MAP pricing. That's something that you can, if you wanted, I can let you look at my store and you can see other companies that we're following MAP pricing on. We have no problem honoring that. In fact, we prefer a company that really aggressively monitors and really aggressively enforces their MAP policy. Once you can get on their side and that they see that you're going to be an ally and not a problem, their perception of you is going to change. What things can you offer to them that no other seller can? Well, you know how you have access to information on how to enhance their listing on Amazon. Pull up their listing on Amazon, especially if there's a bad image or really bad feature bullets. Say, the first thing I would do is I would fix this listing for you. Are you aware that your product is being portrayed on Amazon and it's on a bedspread? It's on somebody's bed and it's a used item and not your brand new item on your beautiful new packaging. The other thing you're going to say is, we also run pay-per-click ads if you do that. We'll help feed you the keywords that you need in order to run your own pay-per-click ads on Google. We're going to enhance your listing. We're going to fix your images, whatever you can do to help show them that you're going to be an asset to them more than just being able to put their item on Amazon. You're going to help their brand as a whole. Make sure that you honor anything that you agree to. So if they say that they have a MAP pricing, so they say that you can't sell under $24.99 and you get on Amazon and you see that you can make a profit still, but right now the price is at $21.99, my recommendation is to not pursue that item unless you tell them. I see other people not following that MAP pricing. Is that something that you really enforce? I don't commit to honoring a MAP pricing unless I can actually honor it. So make sure that you're willing to honor that MAP pricing. That might mean holding your item a little bit longer. That might mean that you don't get to turn it as quickly as possible. However, if the MAP policy is enforced very well, then what you'll find is the buy box rotates and it means better sales for everybody and it keeps the product price from eroding. Remember, if they say no and they don't want to sell to you, it's not personal. They're just doing what's best for their brand. The best thing to do, thank them for their time.